Good morning. I'm Amy McKee. I'm the Deputy Director for the Oncology Center of Excellence, and I'm here to give you a little bit of the flavor of what's been going on with the first Center of Excellence at the FDA, the challenges and successes we've had to date, and where we're moving in the future. So the Oncology Center of Excellence was established in the Cures Act in January 2017, and our mission statement is that we are here to achieve a patient-centered regulatory decision-making through innovation and collaboration. How we interact with the centers. On the left, you see the basic schema of who is in the Oncology Center of Excellence, including both permanent positions and detailed positions. And just as a note, the only employee of the Oncology Center of Excellence until this summer was officially Richard Pazder, the director. Everyone else has been detailed into the center until that point from the various centers who are involved with it. This summer we were able to add more staff, and Human Resources is working on continuing to add staff as we received funding in fiscal year 2018. So we have the deputy director and we have associate directors who focus on different areas of regulation, different areas of science, different areas of research. We interact with the three main centers who have oncology therapeutic products, CDER, CBER, and CDRH, through an intercenter agreement which outlines what we do from a regulatory standpoint and what we do from a policy and research standpoint. This is how we view the work of the Oncology Center of Excellence. At the center, which guides all of our principles, is the regulatory review, because the bread and butter of our job is to review and hopefully approve new oncology products. However, what this also informs is our regulatory science, including both basic research. We have a wet lab that does genomic research, outreach to the community and to academia and to advocacy groups through workshops, symposia, and other venues. Education, both of our own staff internally and of people outside of FDA, to let them know what we are doing and how we operate. And finally, our policy piece, how we regard what we will do in terms of review inside the agency. So what does the regulatory review that OCE does involve? So just to be very clear, the OCE does not have the signatory authority on any products. That signatory authority remains in the home centers, CDER, CBER, and CDRH. So I want to be very clear on that. However, what we do provide is the clinical review for any product that is under an expedited review. That includes accelerated approval, priority review, breakthrough therapy designation requests, RMAT requests, those kinds of programs. The more teams also may be requested for other regulatory submissions at the discretion of the home center. What is a medical oncology review team made up of? It's a primary clinical reviewer. It is a clinical team leader. It is the division director or branch chief from the home center, and is the OCE director or designee who signs off on the clinical review. The goal of these teams is to provide both clinical expertise in whatever disease is the subject of the regulatory submission, as well as regulatory expertise within each MORE team. So if it is a brain tumor application, we want to make sure that we have someone who is a neuro-oncologist, as well as someone who has the regulatory expertise and knowledge of the history of what our precedent has been within the agency on that team. And that's what we hope to provide through the Oncology Center of Excellence, knowing with the approximately 100 oncologists, pediatric oncologists, and radiation oncologists that we are putting together the correct teams for each application. Because of this, we can use reviewers from the multiple centers that are involved, and we frequently do. We frequently will pick reviewers from the different centers to make sure we have the right mix of reviewers on the team. So what happened in our first year of existence in 2017? We took part in the review and approvals of new cancer products across the three centers. In terms of drugs and biologics, we had 12 new treatments, that means new molecular entities, for the treatment of cancer, and we were also involved in the approval of one new medical device used as a companion diagnostic. We provided subject matter and regulatory expertise on over a dozen submissions for breakthrough designation and over 100 key development milestone meetings. We also created a cross-center forum that we call OCE Clinical Rounds with reviewers from all 3 centers. This is where we might come together to discuss a particular thorny issue on a single regulatory submission, to discuss policy issues, and to make sure that we all are on the same page in terms of how we would review products within the agency. We also have an interaction with NCI. We meet with them quarterly with CTEP, and we have FDA liaisons to all the NCI cooperative groups as a listening member to their groups. We also include NCI and CTEP in our workshops as appropriate. We have a lot of outreach to the community with patient advocacy groups and oncology organizations. We held 9 workshops and over 20 symposia in the year 2017. And we also try to get the word out about our approvals and any oncology-related activities such as the workshops or our regulatory track at AACR, our speakers at ASCO, through our approval bursts that go up to professional societies like ASCO, the Oncology Nursing Association, et cetera. We have podcasts that talk about new approvals. We have a Twitter account that tweets out all of this news, and we have a web page. These were the drugs that were the approvals in cancer in 2017, with the ones in red being the new molecular entities and the ones in black, the supplemental indications. Our community outreach is wide and varied. We frequently invite in community oncologists to symposia. These are closed-door meetings where we don't discuss specific products. We are not seeking their advice. We want to hear what's happening out in the community and make sure the labels we write, the approvals that we do, the endpoints that we are using make sense to the community, and we like to get feedback from them to make sure that we're not going down the wrong path. We meet with patient groups frequently. We have a trial disparities project. We have 2 medical oncologists who are very interested in disparities in cancer, both in terms of enrollment and outcomes. We also have several programs that I mentioned in terms of education. We have an internship program for summer high school students who are interested in the medical field. And finally, our regulatory science. This is a big component of the OCE as well. I know Janet talked about bringing in regulatory science to CDER as a whole. We strongly believe in this as well. And we've encouraged this throughout the OCE. Some of the approaches that we have are to expedite oncology product development. This is things such as, looking at master protocols, looking at expansion cohort trials. We had one guidance just come out in August discussing this. That's out for comment right now. We have a group led by Paul Kluwitz looking at patient-focused drug development and patient-reported outcomes in clinical trials and how to use this to expedite development and inform drug development and labels. And we also have a group that works on real-world evidence generation in oncology and how you can use that to accelerate drug development. These are the workshops we held in 2017. And they were very wide-ranging, from a very specific topic like cardiovascular toxicities with immuno-oncology products, which are rare. And that was a workshop to discuss how we can monitor and better predict who might have it, all the way to the dose-finding workshop series that we've had. So it's a wide range of topics. So that's what we did in 2017, and we plan to write an annual report for 2018 as well. Changes that have happened since 2017 is in the fiscal year 2018, we did receive funding that we hope will continue annually. So we're starting to build our center. As I mentioned, we've added 4 more employees officially to the Oncology Center of Excellence, that being myself, some of the associate directors, and some regulatory project management. We also undertook an evaluation to see if the direction we were in and the structure we were in was the appropriate one. And what the future of the OCE should be and what it should look like in terms of structure and organization and mandate. So some of the strengths and challenges of the current structure that we have that were identified were that the FDA colleagues in-house valued the oncology expertise that we could deliver through our educational and professional development programs and engagement with all the centers on a regular basis. We heard from external partners that they valued this increased cohesiveness from the agency and responsiveness and expertise that the OCE could bring. However, some of the challenges were that there's some inconsistencies in precedent in terms of review criteria and some process inefficiencies in the more clinical review teams that we have developed and that we need to iron out further. So we developed a strategic mandate for the near term, being 3 to 5 years, which was to develop an integrated and cohesive strategic agenda for the center in terms of policy, research, and external engagement. We want to serve as the one FDA voice in oncology and as the first point of contact for oncology with external partners. And finally, we want to continue to provide this bespoke support for clinical oncology reviews so that the correct regulatory and subject matter expertise is there for every regulatory submission needed. And the conclusion was that we could achieve this mandate within 2 to 3 years by maintaining the current structure that we have, primarily with associate directors and regulatory project managers, and with dedicated funding for this staff. As I mentioned, we have it in 2018, and we'll see what Congress does for the coming year. This near-term construct would be a transition to potential end state structures, which have yet to be determined. So that is the conclusion to my presentation. I'm happy to take any questions about what we have done, what we're doing now, and what we hope to